Just flashed up there, but now it's recording.
Okay. Okay, so welcome, Scott. I'm so excited to have you here with me today. And I'd love to have you introduce yourself to everyone so we can find out a little bit about who you are and what you're up to.
All right, fantastic. Karen, I'm happy to be here as well. My name is Scott Masciarelli, and I've been working with Karen now for, gosh, it must be 6 or 7 years. Uh, it's been a long time.
Doesn't take that long to get all your results, right?
Of course not, but I've been getting so many great results. I just want to keep on going.
Yeah.
And I work with leaders and a lot of expatriates. I help them maximize themselves personally and professionally. I help many expats come into this country and repurpose themselves and become employed inside the United States. And I work with leaders, as I said, helping them become better. I work with both corporations and also with individuals. My tagline is basically helping them to thrive. So that is what I do as a coach. And in addition to the coaching, I also lead transformational adventures and retreats. Recently came back yesterday, in fact, from a one-week adventure focusing on personal leadership with a group of beautiful souls in the Sacred Valley of Peru. It was a phenomenal time, and it was our second time down there. So I had a lot going on as a coach.
Yeah, and we can't ask too many questions about what went on in Peru, right? It was a
Transformational is all you need to know. It was great. Everybody loved it. We're two for two, myself and my
That's
co-facilitator.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
fantastic.
I do want to ask you a little bit about those experiences, Scott. But first, I want to kind of take you back to where you were in the corporate world before you became a coach. Tell me a little bit about what was going on.
Sure. I was working overseas, and my last corporate position was overseas as an expatriate general manager, and I loved being in the minority overseas, working with, motivating, inspiring an international multicultural team. But I also intuitively knew that that was kind of the end of the line for me, that there was something else out there. I just didn't know what it was. And I decided I wanted to go back to school. I found coaching, and ultimately I found you, Karen. And I always credit coaching, the coaching process, to coaching me right out of my corporate job, which was great. But in that corporate job, I learned so much about leadership and development, not only professional development, but a lot about personal development and also about self-care. And as I was going through coaching training, I realized that I had been managing and leading with a coaching approach. And that inspired me to then, as I said, work with leaders, work with expatriates, because having that global presence, that global focus was something that was really important to me. And I just looked at where I was at the moment and grew the business from there once I left the corporate world. I will also say that corporate taught me many great things, particularly having a structure, the shall we say, the focus and the the not only the determination, but there's a lot of bureaucracy in corporate, but there was a benefit to that because it taught me how to get things done. And now having my own coaching practice, all of that's eliminated, but I was able to take the best of that structure
Mhm.
and the standard work, for example, and put that into my own coaching business, which has worked out really well and has helped me work with and connect with those that are in corporate and in business right now because I can speak their language. I understand what it is they're looking for. I understand their challenges, and having been there in a high level position, I know what it is they're going through. So that makes me not only more credible to them, but able to help them, I think, on a much deeper level.
You articulate yourself so well. So as I'm listening to all this, I'm going, wow, what prompted you to hire me in particular?
Oh my goodness. I would say it was well, I think intuitively. I knew that you had been in business yourself. You'd been the president of a semiconductor company. You understood business, which was really important to me, but you got it from shall we say, the energetic aspect. You got it, and
Mhm.
and that's how I connected with you. And not only because I was introduced to you through my coaching training, but then there was something that intuitively felt right. And once I started working with you, I just knew that it was. And when I hired you, when I left my corporate role, I looked at it as, okay, this is a big life experience for me. I look at it as an adventure. A lot of my life is all about adventures. But I
Yes.
looked at it as an adventure, and I said, I've got an opportunity here to truly rebrand myself and recreate myself professionally. And that's when I hired you and became a VIP client, because it was important to me to do it right. And I wanted the support, and I wanted somebody that understood coaching, but understood where I came from. And most importantly, understood the energetic aspect of it and how to truly connect with my essence, my authentic self. And I will say, that one exercise was for me the most powerful at the very beginning of our coaching practice. And it's just continued since then. Right? I can't
Yeah,
stop.
I remember. So I want to look at one highlight, I think, that happened for you was that you attracted, and I really think this was part of the attraction principles of your biggest corporate client, and ended up being a high five-figure client for you. And I
Right.
want you to tell me a little bit about how did our coaching support you to attract this client?
Well, I think most of all, the client was not attracted in the traditional manner. And the coaching supported me in that, because it allowed me to be open to what was happening at the moment and to continually focus on the positives of the situation. Because when the client truly did become the client, it was through a very, shall we say, unusual manner. And I loved the fact that once they did that road leading up to it, and then when they actually became the client and currently still are, we're still working together, the having you as the coach was integral for me for the success of it, because I had a leadership team in that organization that couldn't even sit around the table and talk to each other.
Mm.
And it was really important for me to have the support to be able to lay out my plan as the coach. What was I going to do? How was I going to do it? What tools was I going to use? What techniques, maybe what assessments? As I think back to that now, quite a few years ago,
Mhm.
it all worked. And each one of our coaching sessions built upon the previous one, because then in between, I was doing the work with them and getting great results. And then I
Mhm.
knew that I could always come back to you, my coach, and sort things through, talk things through, to really understand what was happening. And because I was in it, really in it with them as the coach, you were there as the objective person, the one that can sit and listen to it, but listen to it not from that, from the objective perspective, and say, I think we might want to consider this. Have you thought about that? And you were able to bring me back to the points which needed to be brought back to, if that makes any sense, so that I could go in the next time when I was working with them. And it worked out really well, and it continues to work out well. And the organization to this day says they would not be where they were had it not been for coaching inside the organization. And to this day, they still have me working there as a coach. I still work with their employees whenever they have role changes, or whenever somebody new joins the team, or whenever there's a need for it. So it's really become an integral part of the way they do business, and they are very successful. And they've said it's because of the coaching, which makes me very
Amazing.
happy.
Because of you, Scott, I mean, really,
Yeah,
you made a big investment in them and in yourself. And this has been going on for a few years, yes?
correct. Yeah, I started with them in 2014 as a coach.
So you've made well over six figures from this one
Oh yeah,
client.
yeah, absolutely.
Good
A
job.
couple times.
A couple times, yes, right.
Yeah,
That is fantastic. That's great.
yeah.
And I know I don't want to talk too much about this, but you have another proposal out there that we've worked on together,
We are
and
right there. We're just waiting for the signature. And
just
then we
waiting for the
put the start
signature.
date on the calendar, and I jet across the world for visit number one. Yeah, it's going to be a 1 year. It is a 1 year agreement with coaching two top executives in an organization in another country. And it will include 3 on-site visits, and then regular virtual coaching with those two top executives when I'm not there in person. And you're correct. We did work on it. We worked on the proposal. We worked on the revision of the proposal. We worked on all of it. And again, I mean, I can do all the reading I want. I can do everything I want, but to do this in a vacuum for me doesn't work. I wanted to have, and I need to have the support of a coach who gets it and who can say to me, maybe not that, but let's consider this. And that's important to me. And it's worked, and it works really well. That's why I
Yeah,
you.
that is really really great.
Yeah.
So I have a couple. I have another question that I want to ask you.
Sure.
Maybe a couple. Um, oh, what was so you? We talked about the problem you were solving and what you saw in me. What did you enjoy about the process of working with me? What was that like? This is a crazy question, but I'm curious.
Well, okay, so it's fun. I enjoy our calls. And what's interesting is we never do video calls. Our calls are always on the telephone. And quite honestly, I like that. But I like video too. It's fun. But I just really enjoy our sessions because I always go into the session trusting that sometimes I'm very, as you know, I'll send you a list and I'll say, these are what I want to talk through. These are the points. Other times you get nothing from me. And I say, hit me with your best shot and give me a question. Let's see what we got going here. Because I look at this as an opportunity for me to continually become better and to improve not only my professional existence as a coach and what I'm doing, but also personally in my life as a whole. As I look at it, and you look at it as a holistic, with a holistic approach, and that to me is very important. So I love it because it's fun. We have, of course, a great rapport. I wouldn't be working with you otherwise. We're both Italian. That makes it even more fun, right?
Okay.
And it works. I mean, I can't say anything other than it works, and you get it energetically. I mean, I'll go back to that again. You get it energetically, and that to me is really important because that's the path that I'm on, and it's important to me to connect with like-minded people. So of course it would make sense that I want to connect with a coach who's like-minded, because otherwise I don't feel that I would be nearly as supported nor as successful.
Yeah, I remember your tagline, your inner mantra was "Live life on your own terms." And you
Absolutely.
had success, a lot of success in corporate, but you wanted to have success on your own terms.
That's it.
Yeah. So
And I
tell us
have
a
it.
little. Oh, so tell us a little bit about your Awakening Man retreat, which is kind of in the periphery, but something that was a dream for you when we started.
It was a dream. Well, this is my third now, my third retreat. Did a retreat a couple of years ago, 4 coaches in Bali with another coach who we know, and that was a great opportunity to gather, and it was an amazing time. We had a great turnout, and we loved every moment of it, and it taught me a lot about the retreat. So not only do you and I work on getting corporate clients, which is of course very important, and we're working with my executive clients, which I work with, but I have this other part of me which loves to travel and jet off and do adventurous things. So then myself and another coach, who ironically we met in Bali at the retreat, realized that there was synergy there, and we put on the Awakening Man last year in the Sacred Valley of Peru, where guys came and they were not coaches at all. These are people that had, very different careers. We had realtors and doctors and accountants and people that joined us in the Sacred Valley of Peru for a 1 week transformational adventure, which included a 3-day trek with camping, and it included working with a shaman, and of course seeing Machu Picchu and seeing the tourist areas inside the Sacred Valley. But it was an inner and an outer exploration, and it was so well received that we did the one we just came back from yesterday, called the Awakening 2.0, where our tagline was infused with estrogen. So we had females on this trip, and let me tell you, it was a lot of fun. So we
I
also had
bet.
a great reviews from them. Everybody loved it. Everybody felt awakened, and we're going to be looking at putting our 2019 trip on the calendar. So
Oh,
for me, it's important. I look at coaching as an opportunity to connect with people, most importantly, to help people become the best that they can be. And then for me, what I love about us working together is that because connecting with my authentic self and giving myself the permission, I should say, permission to connect with my authentic self and to be has allowed me to awaken to all of the different opportunities and ways that I can exist out there as a coach, but not labeled just as a coach. But these trips, these adventures I talk about, and any of the other work that I do, it's all about taking, really raising the consciousness of humanity and helping people, not just leaders, but of course leaders, executives, expatriates, and anybody that I come in contact with, to elevate them and help them be the best that they can become. I wouldn't be
oh,
able to do it, I
that
don't
is.
think, without working with you, because
Oh, that is so
you've been
you.
there every step of the way.
Oh, I have. It has been a joy. It has been my joy to be
Yeah.
there every step of the way with you. And one last question: what would you say to someone who's considering working with me as their coach? Who would be a good fit?
I think a person who's a good fit to work with you is again, somebody who is on the path energetically, who is looking for that synergy in their life, who is really ready to take an honest look at themselves and their authentic selves, and really then take their authentic self and help them design a thriving coaching practice. I assume it'll be a coaching practice, right? But a thriving practice, because you also work with people who are not coaches. But if it is a coach, a thriving coaching practice, or just a thriving life in general, where they can be their best because they're connecting with who they are at their most authentic self. I mean, I keep going back to that because it's so important, and it really has worked incredibly well for me. Also, somebody who wants a very experienced coach. You are that. MCC, Master Certified Coach, incredible trainer, and you're able to connect with and really kind of hone in on what the client needs in that moment, and that to me is so important. And I think that just those are some of the key points of somebody looking to hire you as a coach. Of course, fun, great spirit, great sense of humor, and just they're ready to support and help that person be the best that they can be. Those are just a few things that come to mind.
Thank you. And I do want to add to what you just said. Someone coming out of corporate who's been working so hard to get results. I think that was you. I mean, I remember like you were so successful. You won awards and things,
right,
but you were drained and tired of all of that. And you wanted to create something on your own terms. You were used to working hard, but you wanted to work more smart, more leveraged, the right way. And it has really been my honor, Scott, to be with you every step of this way.
Thanks.
So,
it's been great. Let me say one more thing, because you just made me think of something. Okay. When I was in corporate, yes, I was very successful, et cetera, but I didn't realize the value of self-care. And that's working with you really taught me the importance of taking care of myself. And that way I could then be my best self. In corporate, I was used to long hours and, that cliche, burning the candle at both ends. I was doing that, and I got results. I was successful. Our team won many awards. So there was no problem in any of those areas, except that I was depleted and it wasn't sustainable. So working with you really taught me the value of self-care and how you can be equally as successful on your own terms and take great care of yourself so you're not depleted.
Woohoo! That's the one. Well, Scott, thank you so much for being willing to be here with me today. And I learned some things that I didn't know before. And so it's just been a really great time. And I'm very grateful for you.
Great. Thank you, Karen. Thanks, Karen. And I too am grateful for you. Appreciate it.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.